Hello, my sweet loves. Today I wanted to talk about and speak into the archetype of the Muse. How do I connect to this archetype? What is my understanding behind it? And give you some embodiment anchors and cues to have your own felt experience through this process. So let's dive in and let's uncover and demystify this idea of the Muse a little bit. So to me, it's really inspiring to be able to connect into this living field of energy that I understand as inspiration in the form or in the shape of a muse, in the shape of an archetype. I believe that compartmentalizing in this essence, this energy and this pure frequency, this pure element of creativity into an idea, which is the muse, allows us to tap into that archetype more easily and to begin to cultivate and dance with it in our day-to-day life in a way that is a little bit easier than just having it be a concept or an energy somewhere out there in the ether. So understanding archetypes as a collection of energy imprints, as a blueprint, as a way of living, as a way of creating and dancing with the energy of life, can be a really helpful tip to incorporate into any area of your life, whether that's business or relationship or family. So that is why I love working with the archetypes. So today we are unraveling the Muse. The Muse to me is this core frequency of creativity. The Muse is a source of inspiration. She is this living pulse of life that is always on the threshold of the next great expression, of the next great, way of living, next great wave of embodying and being and occupying the fullness of our expression. So to me, the Muse is an integral part of a creative life, whether we have a creative practice or not, whether we are just artists of life and our entire life is the masterpiece. The Muse is a core aspect of that, because we need to have that fuel, we need to have that connection to that spark and that living essence. And something that I found in my life and time again with others in my circles is that we can treat creativity as an extractory experience. So how much can I take? What can I get from this? How can I really milk this energy in order to produce, in order to create? And we fail to recognize that it's a relationship like any other in our life. So if we abuse it and use it only as an extraction, what can you give to me? What can I take from you? Without acknowledging that, hey, perhaps this relationship needs to be nurtured. Where was a time in my life where the Muse, this inspiration came to me and I completely pushed it away? And now I'm expecting her to show up like this. I'm expecting inspiration to flow to me, to be alive and to be expressed, where I haven't cultivated the safe environment within my system to be an environment of aliveness. Perhaps I've sown seeds and I've cultivated seeds of doubt, of resentment, of depression rather than expression, of holding back my voice rather than letting it or her flow through me. So to me, the muse is a living, moving energy. She's always in motion. So perhaps as I'm speaking to you right now, it feels aligned to just deepen your breath, to drop into your core, into your roots, into your belly, into your womb. To notice that already this shift is making us more attuned to that wave of life. Sipping, soaking in this breath, delighting in this breath. And adding motion, adding inspired movement to this. So if you're feeling called to sway with a little bit of an 8 figure, perhaps that is your flow today, or maybe you're circling your hips. And keep breathing, just deepen into that breath for a moment. Anchor deep into, find your roots, like find your root system. If we have this beautiful blossoming tree right behind me, what are the roots that needed to grow in order for these blossoms to come into the space, to take up space, to take the energy from the depth, from the dark soil, this cauldron of creativity, this cauldron of nature, of life force, to take that and to center this energy with a direct purpose, clear line, into growth of a tree. You know, this tree behind me is not trying to be a weed in the garden. It had a clear blueprint, it had a clear vision, a purpose. You know, it knew what it was becoming. So when we take that same model and we reach deep into the earth, stretch our energetic roots into the ground underneath us, like really deepen, like feel, like if you had to use your imagination here, like feel and expand into the ground beneath you, and understand that this too is a relationship. Perhaps this energetic rooting is not something that you've ever done, and your mind is already going into this, oh, but I can't feel anything. Offer yourself grace, my love, and recognize that this too is a relationship. If we haven't used our biceps in a long time, and all of a sudden we're expecting to hit 50 kgs, that seems a little bit ridiculous, right? So why are we expecting our own energy, our own felt sense, our own creativity to perform backflips for us when we have not tended to that relationship in a long time? And also recognizing that shifts and changes like that can happen very quickly, you know, but the more we tend to that which we want to live in us, the easier it is for everything to be flow, to be in flow and to be flowing. So in this moment, take your breath, sink through your head. Take your energy as if you were grabbing something with your hand and pull it downwards. Let it be washed down, moved down as if there was a beautiful shower. a cool, beautiful shower that was just saturating you from your head, from your crown, from the sky, and like pouring into you, and almost washing through you, so that your awareness and your attention could surf on the flow and on the wave as it reaches deep into the earth. Sink into your bones. Feel your spine, your core, your belly. Feel yourself sinking. Perhaps you're leaning back a little bit. Sink. Sink. Sink into the soil of this earth. Sink into this living, breathing field of energy that is always recycling and cycling and seasoning and moving energy. The archetype of the Muse. She is taught by the cycles. She is in rhythm and in pulse with the earth. She learns from nature, from the seasons, from the world around her. She honors the seasons and the cycles. If she's in a cycle of winter, she's not trying to blossom. Those are two opposing energies. But she becomes a master of this inner alchemy, where even in the depth of winter, in the cycle of destruction and in the cycle of chaos, she can reach deep into the dark matter of the soil, to stretch into rest, to stretch into introspection, and to stretch into that world around her, to extract inspiration, to sink, to get her hands dirty, to sink into that depth, so that she can be nourished even in that winter. The Muse is not focusing on lack. The Muse is not focusing on depletion. The Muse finds value and essence in everything that is around her. The Muse is living and breathing with everything that is around her. And she's in mastery and in relationship and in right relationship with everything around her. She's treating life as a masterpiece. And through that, treating every experience, every person, every element as a part of this masterpiece. Whether it's good or bad, pretty or ugly, she's able to be present and true to the moment, to not escape, to not disassociate, to not go into depression, but to take that energy and turn it into fuel, into fire. That is the path of Tantra, right? To be able to take the stuff we might not necessarily like, to still be present with it, and to use it to weave our life, to use it as creation energy. So now you've set your anchor points, you're deep in the earth, whatever season you are in, and just feel for a moment, how deeply can you go? Whatever is happening in your life, whatever experiences, whatever your head is saying or doing, bring that energy back into the central channel. Anchor deep. Become the master of your energy in this moment. Breath by breath. If there's anything challenging, just breathe and move and allow yourself to use the instrument of the body in order to sink deeper. And so the muse is also skilled in the ability to use this beautiful instrument of the body, to nourish this instrument, this vessel, to treat it as an altar in a temple, to honor and celebrate and to take care of it in the right ways. So moving, nourishing yourself with delicious foods, perhaps shifting habits, not allowing ourselves to continuously nurture and nourish habits that are depleting, that are exhausting. And the muse is also skilled in anchoring safety. I would say that the counterpart to the muse is this beautiful masculine energy of safety and protection, and I'm using these as energy, not as gender. So think of it as an essence, a frequency, a hue, a color, a texture. So the texture of safety, the texture of container, the texture of I am creating the environment around me for my muse to thrive. So what does that need to entail? Do I need to drink a little bit more water? Do I need to nourish the seeds of gratitude in the morning? Do I need to meditate? Do I need to go for a run? Do I want to go for a swim? What is it that I need to be the person that I was always born to be? To me, the muse and the archetype of the muse is our, most orgasmic essence. She is tuned in to pleasure. She is tuned into joy. She's tuned into aliveness. She's tuned into love. She is the master alchemist, the weaver, the creatrix. She pierces through the veils of illusion into the relationships and the events and experiences around, and she's able to weave them. She's weaving all of this material, so her mind and her intelligence, it is also vast because it has to be all-encompassing. It has to touch everything. And instead of shrinking and contracting, she's choosing to open and expand into what wants to flow through her moment to moment to moment to moment, whether that is grief or rage or even closure at times. But can we become present and open enough to allow that to flow through us? So as we've sunk our anchor into the earth, imagine that within the earth there's this pool of energy, this infinite source, and it's this, it's this ball of energy, this aliveness. I like to feel it as like watery electricity, So reaching into that deep cauldron, take your breath and let it travel up your root system, to travel up into your body, to travel up through your bones, through every cell. Tuning into that aliveness, sipping it in, soaking it in as if you're being saturated. To me, the muse enters in the pores, in the porousness, in that and the places in between my armoring, my constriction, my agitations, or my limitations. And the more I am able to attune my instrument, to be in pleasure, to be in joy, to be in openness, the more she is able to find a way in. And I'm almost sinking into her. It's like a sigh out. It's as if you're there after a long day and you can finally sink into her. Sink into your true creative essence. And in this sense, you are turned on, tuned in, and tapped into your own aliveness. Your own joy and your own pleasure is what is fueling and continuously nourishing this joy. So the more inspired I feel, the more inspiration flows through me, and the more happy I am that this inspiration is here, the more grateful I am, the more I am able to notice and witness the beauty and the gratitude that is already around me, the more I am able to nourish and be in continual flow and overflow of this energy. And I can do that with anything in my life, whether I'm looking for more creativity, more love, more joy, more harmony. So much of our lives we spend focusing on the things that we don't want. We spend time focusing on the block, on the resistance, on the stuff that is in front of us, instead of saying, what is working out? What is alive in me? What is nourished? What is inspired? And sometimes that can be really challenging, especially if we're moving through a cycle of contraction and a cycle of depression, or we've been there for a little bit of time so that we've forgotten what passion and aliveness is like. But we can always rebuild, we can always re-anchor, rebalance, and find step by step, bridge by bridge, the way back to our inspired, ecstatic, enlivened self, and it is never too late. So working with the archetype of the Muse, it is creating pockets and moments in our day-to-day life where we can be nourished, where we can touch that inspired state. So one of the exercises we did today was reaching deep into the roots. Another one is drawing it up. Even 2 seconds throughout your day that you do to continuously touch that aliveness will continuously nourish that aliveness in you and in your life, and it will keep taking your mind's attention back to that point, and through that spread into the life around you to say, where else is my aliveness? If I can't find aliveness here and now, what is something that I was really excited about in the future? Can I recall, even by 1%, this energy of aliveness, this energy of inspiration? If I can't, is there something that I can do in order to stoke my own fire a little bit? Is it eating chili? Is it going out dancing? Is it doing a breathwork session? Is it doing a sauna sauna and a cold plunge? I really love sauna because it gets my body warm. When I'm warm, I'm a lot more creative than when I am, cold and a little bit like constricted. So what is it for you? Is it picking up again your favorite book? Is it going for a run? And usually it will entail some action and some energy. If we're sitting on the couch for 3 hours scrolling on YouTube, how can we expect this energy of aliveness to awaken us? Is there something you can do? Going out for a coffee, going for a new class, going to the library, visiting a new place, going to the museum, going to a gallery, perhaps even going to the movies. I know I said that often, when we are a bit docile or complacent or tired, that it can be a little bit harder to stoke that energy. But the muse, as I mentioned already, she thrives in safety and she thrives in relaxation. For example, all of last week, I was working on a film shoot and teaching, and my body felt really tired. I felt this need to nourish myself, to eat a little bit more. And so I completely didn't work out for a whole week, and I allowed myself to eat more, even though there was a voice in my head that said, oh, you're just gonna grow in your belly and whatever, and it's so good to exercise and you should push yourself and you should have that discipline. But how can I change and exchange my morning practice to serve me in my life? So instead of doing a 1-hour bar session, or instead of doing a yoga or a kundalini yoga session, can I just do one dance or one song, and can I allow that to be okay instead of making it a problem? And now that my body has softened, my muscles have relaxed, I feel more love flowing to me, through me, for me, because of this. Because I didn't constrict myself more. I didn't try to fit myself into a big box and say, this is what you have to be in order to achieve this. What if this is already within me and I must simply open and relax in order to experience the fullness of this? Whether this is love, whether this is relaxation. So much of working with the muse is getting out of our own way, anchoring into safety, continuous inspiration, and acting on inspiration when it comes. So whether it's writing it down on a piece of paper, speaking it, creating something, the muse doesn't like to wait, from my experience. She likes to take the fruits of something that has bubbled up and flow with it. And if that happens, usually it's easier. Things kind of work out in synchronicity. And I found on my creative journey that the more I wait, the more I stall, the more this momentum that rose up in inspiration, the more it slows down. And it's not that it's impossible to restoke it, but it takes a little bit of a grit. It takes a different kind of tenacity to be able to anchor deep into the earth, to not allow the mind to take over. Oh, now I'm bored. There must be something wrong with me. I'm not passionate about this anymore. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. Like we're completely taking those thoughts out of our experience and saying, okay, the pace is now slower, but I can continue to nourish this project, this experience, this relationship in small and significant ways, so that they accumulate to the finished product, to the finished project, even if it's 5 minutes a day. So in understanding Master Alchemy, we can also understand momentum. Inspiration often comes with momentum and this propelling forward into a new vision, into a new passion, into a way of living and experiencing our own creativity without obstruction. And then over time, that obstruction, our own limiting beliefs and our own limiting thoughts can sneak back in and begin to almost eat away at this vision. So if we're not attuned to that, if it's happening, then it can eat away at our dreams, and it can eat away at our inspirations. But it's not doing that from a nasty energy. To me, I believe that creativity and life force energy is always seeking an avenue and an outlet of expression. Chaos and destruction is part of expression. Every autumn, the leaves have to die and they have to fall away in order to be digested and turned over to bloom in spring. Chaos, death, destruction, it is part of the circle of life. So if we become stagnant, the cycle of creation to me turns into the cycle of destruction, where the energy of creativity is trying to find what it is in us that is blocking this natural flow of creativity in our own expression. And it's trying to bring it to the forefront of our consciousness so that the light of our awareness can begin to alchemize it, so that next time creativity comes around, we are more open, we have less baggage, less of those knots that are in our psyche and in our body that are stopping and preventing this pure expression in our life. That was a big long thought. So learning and understanding the cycles of creativity and the cycles of destructions, the cycles of our own habits, the tendencies that we have, the way we soothe, the way we escape and misuse the creative energy, the way we scatter that energy, the way we keep nourishing the seeds of something that we don't want. Those are all important markers and points of understanding and embodying more deeply the creative muse, the Muse archetype, and learning to live in a way that honors and nourishes the muse rather than takes power away from her. What can you give me? Instead of what can I gift to you so that you can thrive? So I'll leave that with you as a final prompt. What can ask your muse, sink into your anchors and your roots again and ask, what is it that you need from me in this moment to fully thrive? Or how can I right my relationship with you? I'm so sorry, my love, that I've been so absent, that I've just been on this journey of why aren't you giving me what I want? And instead, how can I honor you? Where can I soften? Let me know down in the comments below how you're finding these prompts and embodiments, and if you want me to work more with these archetypes, or what archetypes are enticing you in this moment. Do you want to know more about the warrior, the priestess, the alchemist, the king, the queen, the fool, the inner child? There's so much to extract and to bathe in as a source of inspiration around us, and to live a life that is artful, to me, is to live a life in constant reciprocity and in constant dialogue with the earth and the world around us, that allows us to step into the power of the co-creator and the co-weaver of this life, rather than just seeing life happen to us. The lens of the artist is what nourishes all of my life. It's how I can take beauty and turn it in, it's how I can take pain and turn it into beauty. It's how I can reach deep into the roots, into silence, and to stretch into it so that when creativity comes, my container can be wider. And using inspired creative ways to meet our life with love and compassion and creativity. So that everything is inspiration, everything is nourishment, everything is serving us, and everything is a part of this great big masterpiece that we call life. Have a wonderful day, my loves. I'm sending you a big hug, a warm cup of tea, and a big smiley sunshine to wherever you are, from my heart to yours.